What is up, guys? Welcome into a brand new video. Now we are looking at some of the things that have happened in Cricket 24 news, general cricket news. We've had a couple of new updates about some new games coming out, but before we get into it, guys, if you could leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, it does massively help out the channel. And we've had a couple of patches this week from Cricket 24, so we will have a look at what's happened. So they added Career World Championship qualification, added career post-match press conferences, which are broken and are just direct copied and pasted from AFL 23, because I actually got asked if I wanted to play any more footy this season, which I don't even know what footy is. I mean, ridiculous statement. Improved training, career training sessions. I haven't really tried them out. I've done a couple of training. I usually just do bench press to try and get my player a bit stronger. Added sliders to shift timing windows. Now, I know when this was in pre-release, there was a couple of struggles with it. I haven't actually tried it myself. It would be nice to see if you could change that timing of the spinners, because it seems to be quite off. It seems to be very, very late. But I've kind of got used to it now, so I probably won't tinker around with it too much. Added an option to wear caps against spin bowlers, something we've been asking for ages. A really nice kind of visual touch that they've added. A couple of things I will say about Cricket 24 is that they're actually listening this year. There was a lot of changes that we wanted in Cricket 22 that we just never got. So to see that is always nice. Player data, visual updates, usual stuff. Improved batting animation, improved fielding, improved running between the wickets. I have had less run outs, I think. Improved fielding is interesting because the wicketkeepers no longer take catches. They just drop everything. So they've gone from literally catching every single thing that's anywhere near them to just not being able to catch anymore. Oh, there's got to be a balance that they can find somewhere, surely. I mean, we can't just have either broken keepers or broken keepers. Like, surely, please, can we sort that out? Improved running between the wicket, again, had no real run outs. Performance improvements and stability improvements. We will come on to those issues at some point. And then there's some expanded notes there, really. It's just kind of going into a bit more detail. But so the performance improvements, a number of changes were made to optimize frame rate. However, these could not make the old generation consoles reach a stable frame rate. As such, PS4 and Xbox One have been set to a 30 FPS frame rate cap to avoid tearing. There was a slight issue with that. There was a lot of uproar about it. So they then went and did this. So there was a lot of uproar, and they went back and reverted the frame rate issues. They took the locked frame rate of 30 FPS and said, you know what, if you want 60, have 60, but you're going to have some tearing, and everyone seemed relatively happy with that. We did also get some improved commentary. I don't have the commentary on. Improve the career press conferences. So again, I think that's the footy questions. There was a couple ones that was coming up. It was like PC question 60 and then PC answer 60, and it just didn't really make any sense. A number of players in the 100 have improved their player visuals, which is fine. And improve stability, because there was a few crashes that I had on career mode, but haven't had any since they did this update, which I think went live on the 21st, so that was Thursday. Now, we did also get some news from Big Ant that the Pakistan players are currently in the photometric, whatever they call it. So we are going to have the updated Pakistan teams in the game pretty soon, which is really exciting. They've had to be in for a long time. They said that they were licensed. Obviously, we didn't actually get the proper player faces on release. So hopefully there'll be an update. I think they're coming in the January patch. They're not going to be in before Christmas. But over in January, they are going to be in the game. So that'll be exciting. Some of the players that play for Pakistan just don't look anything like each other. It's a bit of a shame you don't get players like Harris Ralph, Nazim Shah, and players like that haven't actually gone over to Australia. It's just going to be the kind of test team. You thought that they could have maybe messaged Harris Ralph, because I think, isn't Harris Ralph playing for the Melbourne Stars at the moment? Which is, I think, is where the offices are based for Big Ant. So maybe he could have got his player face done. I don't know. But we are going to have the Pakistan team in with player faces. Another cricket game that I have been paying quite close attention for is obviously Gods of Cricket. I've mentioned it a few times so far, and apparently one of their press releases have said that it's going to be the world's first full multiplayer cricket game. So you can play 11 versus 11 on this game, which basically means cricket pro clubs. Now, if there is a proximity chat or like a game chat or something where I can sledge the opponents, that is all I ask for. Okay, that's all I was good for when I played cricket, is sledging. Okay, so please just let me stand at first slip for a full test match and sledge a poor 12-year-old just trying to play a cricket game. That's all I want in my life. Whether you can get 11 players playing, I don't know how it's going to work. It seems to be there's going to be a lot of standing around and not doing a lot, especially if you play anything longer than 10 overs. There's probably going to be a lot of time to kill, so I don't really know how this is going to work. I know a lot of people, when I was doing my kind of prediction videos for Cricket 24, was saying, oh, Cricket 24 pro clubs would be unreal to see, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, like it's probably a lot of fun, but if you're batting like at a test match or a 50 over match or something like that, then it's just going to be a bit dull. So I'm excited to see this game. I'm excited to see what they bring out with it. We still haven't really seen any gameplay on it. There seems to be a lot of releases of what they're gonna do, but nothing's been proved. So everything that is said by this company at the moment, just take with a pinch of salt. They don't have a long history. It might just be a pretty crappy mobile game. I'm not 100% sure, but just keep an eye on it. It seems to be very interesting. Now, another thing that happened in actual cricket this week. The IPL auction happened, which was interesting. Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins were the ones who went for the most money. So I think it was Starc went for 24.75 crore, I think, which equated to like $4 million. Cummins went for 20.5, which was like $3.5 million. I can't remember if that's AUD or USD. It's a lot of money. It is really a lot of money. Now, they are not worth that, okay? Mitchell Starc has not played a domestic T20 game since 2015. It's been 8 years since he last played. It's been 8 years since he last played in the IPL. The 8 years that he last played in the IPL was the last time he actually played in a domestic. He's played a few like T20Is. He hasn't played that well. He's played okay. But in the last few years since COVID, he hasn't been very good and really hasn't played apart from T20 World Cups and things like that. Cummins has played slightly more recently, but still, like, Cummins has done enough that we know what he's going to be like in the IPL. Do not get me wrong. I am not saying that these two are bad bowlers. I think they are top class. I think they're top class in ODIs. I think they're top class in Test matches. T20s in the IPL, I don't think so. I completely understand that the IPL is completely just out of this world and stupid money, and no one really actually knows what they're doing or if there's any good players. And what basically they do is they just take the big names and who perform well in the most recent World Cup, which is the same reason that Curran went for like 23 crore or whatever. It was like $2.5 million for Sam Curran. I mean, ridiculous. Why he'd ever go for that much money, I don't know. I said exactly the same thing as he's picked. I'm going to say exactly the same thing now. These two are not worth it as much as they are probably top bowlers in the world in their respective formats. T20s in India, it's not going to be the one. They might prove me wrong. Starc might prove me wrong. I think Starc's a much better white ball bowler than Cummins is. But I just don't think they've got enough difference. I think there's a lot of T20 specialist bowlers now that will outperform these quite easily. But fair play to them. Take the money, run with it. It doesn't matter. I am not hating on these two for the money. I am just giving my opinion of what I think they're actually worth. And it's probably half, if not a third, of what they actually went for. Moving on to some actual cricket games that actually happened this week. England finished off their series with the West Indies and brought England's year to an end. West Indies ended up taking the series 3-2 in the end. The ODIs were 2-1. The T20s were 3-2 to West Indies. Phil Salt, man of the series, just for some unbelievable knocks to really show the IPL that he should have been picked up. I mean, we're going back to Starc and Cummins being worth that much money. Surely some of that purse had to go on someone like Phil Salt, who's just scoring tons in T20s for fun. The West Indies are a good side. There's a reason that they've beaten India at home. They beat South Africa away when they've got a full strength squad, especially in conditions that favour them. So either at home or somewhere like South Africa where the conditions are very similar. They're a decent side. I know they didn't make the World Cup, but it is what it is. England were okay in the games we won. We looked really good. I mean, we scored 267 in a game. To score the second highest T20 score of a full ICC member, you've got to be playing pretty well. But when we were bad, we were really bad. The problem is Matthew Mott is still our coach. He's come out with some statements, which I'm pretty sure are AI generated at this point. I don't think that they could possibly be real, because it's just the same political crap that he seems to always come out with. No idea why. So, yeah, we now move on to the Test versus India. Our next white ball series is going to be, I think it's May, it's going to be May. It's before the T20 World Cup. We've got T20s against Pakistan to warm up, and then that's it. We're straight into the World Cup. We literally have a 5-match series in India, which is going to go on for like 2 months. IPL, back for Pakistan, T20 World Cup, and then we're into the English summer, and we've got Sri Lanka and West Indies over for tests. I think there's a few ODIs. I think we've got ODIs against Australia and T20s against Australia at the end of the English summer, but that's kind of the plan for England at the moment. Which should be interesting, but not the greatest result from England in this series. Australia women and India women are currently halfway through a test match. India are kind of all over Australia. They scored 400 in their first innings. Australia scored 200. Australia are currently 250, 230 for 5, something like that in return. Lead by about, I think it's just shy of 50 with 5 wickets left. So they're going to need a pretty good performance out of them to get anywhere near it. I think the Indians are just proving that the Indian conditions are really, really difficult to deal with, which is kind of understandable. We've seen it in the men's tests. We're now seeing it in the women's test. It's just these subcontinent conditions in a longer format game is always going to be really hard to deal with. But we did have one of the bigger brain fades that I've seen in a cricket game happen. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So Australia 49 for no loss. Beth Mooney on strike and has just hit it straight to short leg or silly point or wherever that is. I think it's short leg. And just gone for a bit of a wander. Silly point. Literally just gone for a wander. Was off balance and just didn't even really pay attention, and then has tried to get back into their crease. Now, as an Englishman, I have many, many theories on this. As Beth Mooney is not attempting a run, you have to say spirit of the game comes into the equation. I know a lot of Australians don't necessarily believe in the spirit of the game or spirit of cricket or whatever you want to call it. But as they have had a player run out when they are not attempting a run, or even stumped, you could say. I think this probably went down as a run out because it's not the keeper. I think you've got to give Australia the moral victory for this. So I would like to congratulate on Australia women and Australia as a nation for your first moral victory as a nation. So congratulations. If we could clap for Australia, roll the Australian national anthem. If I knew what it was, I'd sing it for you. But now you know how it feels to be English. And I'm sure you're very happy about that. But guys, that's going to be it for today's video. That's kind of everything that's happened in the world of cricket. Again, there's a New Zealand-Bangladesh series that I'm just not even going to talk about. New Zealand got bowled out for 90, but won the series. So it is what it is. Please remember to like, please remember to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.